Have you ever slammed your head against your desk, utterly bewildered by a decision, a statement, an action so profoundly illogical? We've all been there, haven't we? That moment of stunned silence, followed by a slow burn of frustration, maybe even anger. You rack your brain, trying to find a sliver of reason, a hint of logic, but it's just not there. It's like encountering a force of nature, unpredictable and utterly baffling. In 1976, an Italian economic historian named Carlo M. Cipolla, a man probably intimately acquainted with the labyrinthine absurdities of human behavior, decided to dissect this very phenomenon. He wasn't just observing economic trends. He was peering into the very heart of human interaction, and what he found was, well, let's just say it's both darkly humorous and disturbingly insightful. Cipolla didn't just categorize people as good or bad, smart or less so. He went deeper, identifying 4 distinct groups based on their impact on themselves and others: the helpless, the intelligent, the bandit, and finally, the category that truly sets our teeth on edge: the stupid. And here's the kicker: the revelation that might just change how you see the world, or at least how you navigate your daily commute. Cipolla argued that the stupid person is not just a nuisance, not just someone to be mildly inconvenienced by. He declared them the most dangerous type of person. More dangerous than the calculated malice of a bandit. More insidious than the organized power of, well, he even dared to compare them to entities like the mafia, the military, and communism. Strong words, right? But before you dismiss this as academic hyperbole, let's delve into Cipolla's framework, his 5 basic laws of human stupidity, and see if they resonate with that nagging feeling you get when you encounter them. Law number 1. Always and inevitably, everyone underestimates the number of stupid individuals in circulation. Think about it. Really think. How many times have you walked into a meeting, a social gathering, even just scrolled through social media and thought, wow, there are more uninformed people here than I anticipated? It's not about being elitist. It's about a gut feeling, a sense that the sheer volume of illogical thinking is perpetually underestimated. We tend to assume a baseline of rationality, a shared understanding of cause and effect. We want to believe people are generally trying to make sense, even if they sometimes miss the mark. But Cipolla's first law throws a bucket of cold water on that optimistic assumption. He's saying it's not just some people, it's more than you think. And it's not a temporary blip. It's always and inevitably. This isn't just about occasional misjudgments. It's a constant underestimation, a systematic error in our perception of the world. Imagine you're planning a project, factoring in potential delays, unexpected costs, human error. Cipolla's first law suggests you should probably double, maybe even triple your stupidity contingency. Because they're out there, in greater numbers than your rational mind wants to accept. It's like realizing that pigeons aren't just occasional visitors to the city square. They're a constant, pervasive presence, always ready to, well, you know. Law number 2. The probability that a certain person be stupid is independent of any other characteristic of that person. This one is truly liberating, and perhaps a little unsettling. We often try to find patterns, to categorize, to make sense of why people are the way they are. We might think education, wealth, social status, even kindness or cruelty are indicators of intelligence or its opposite. Cipolla, with ruthless efficiency, dismantles this entire framework. He declares that stupidity is democratic, indiscriminate, and utterly indifferent to your carefully constructed social hierarchies. Think of the highly educated professor who makes a spectacularly boneheaded decision in their personal life. Consider the wealthy CEO who bankrupts their company with a breathtakingly short-sighted strategy. Picture the person who volunteers at the soup kitchen every week, yet consistently manages to create chaos and inefficiency wherever they go. Education? Irrelevant. Wealth? Meaningless. Status? Doesn't matter. Kindness? Can coexist perfectly with profound stupidity. This law is not about saying everyone is equally stupid. It's saying that stupidity is a separate axis, a dimension of human behavior entirely independent of all the other traits we use to judge and categorize each other. It's like eye color. It's just there, unrelated to your IQ, your moral compass, or your shoe size. You can be brilliant and blue-eyed, or brilliant and brown-eyed. You can also be stupid and rich, or stupid and poor. Stupidity is an equal opportunity affliction, a wild card in the human deck. It's a humbling and slightly terrifying thought. It means that no matter how carefully you vet someone, no matter how impressive their credentials, the potential for profound, bewildering stupidity is always lurking. Law number 3. A stupid person is a person who causes losses to another person or to a group of persons while himself deriving no gain and even possibly incurring losses. This is where Cipolla's definition truly sharpens, moving beyond mere lack of intellect to something far more active. It's not about being slow or uninformed or making mistakes. It's about causing harm, damage, loss, without benefit to oneself. This is the crucial distinction. Let's break down the categories Cipolla identifies to illustrate this. He paints a simple, almost cartoonish picture using two axes: benefits to self and benefits to others. The helpless. They take actions that cause losses to themselves, but benefit others. Think of the well-meaning but utterly ineffective volunteer who messes up the filing system but at least tried to help. They're taken advantage of, often exploited, and while their contribution is limited, they are, at their core, benign. We might feel pity, maybe a little frustration, but not real anger. The intelligent. These are the people we admire, the builders, the innovators. They take actions that benefit both themselves and others. The entrepreneur who creates jobs and wealth, the scientist who discovers a life-saving cure, the teacher who inspires a generation. These are the net positives in society, the ones who make things better. We feel admiration, gratitude, hope. The bandits. Ah, the bandits. These are the self-serving, the predatory. They benefit themselves by causing losses to others. The con artist, the corrupt politician, the corporate raider who strips a company bare. We understand bandits in a twisted way. Their motivation is clear: self-enrichment. We might hate them, fear them, fight them, but we understand them. There's a logic, however warped, to their actions. We feel anger, resentment, a desire for justice. And then, there are the stupid. These are the outliers, the anomalies, the truly baffling category. They take actions that cause losses to others and derive no gain for themselves. They might even incur losses in the process. This is the illogical, the irrational, the infuriating core of stupidity, according to Cipolla. Think of the office paper jam that someone deliberately creates, for no discernible reason, causing everyone delays and frustration, including themselves. Consider the driver who cuts you off in traffic, causing a near accident and traffic congestion for everyone, including themselves, just to gain nothing. Picture the bureaucrat who implements a nonsensical rule that slows down everything, benefits no one, and even makes their own job harder. These actions aren't malicious, not in the way a bandit is malicious. They are pointless. They defy rational explanation. They are pure, unadulterated stupidity in action. And that's what makes them so uniquely dangerous. You can't reason with them. You can't predict them based on self-interest, because self-interest plays no part in their calculus. They are agents of chaos, acting seemingly at random, but with consistent negative impact. This evokes not just anger, but a deeper, more unsettling emotion: bewilderment, and perhaps a touch of fear. Law number 4. Non-stupid people always underestimate the damaging power of stupid people. In particular, non-stupid people constantly forget that at all times and places and under any circumstances, dealing and/or associating with stupid people always turns out to be a costly mistake. This law is a warning, a survival guide for navigating a world teeming with the type defined in Law 3. It's about our own cognitive biases, our tendency to assume rationality in others, and our repeated failure to grasp the sheer destructive potential of the truly stupid. We, the non-stupid, tend to approach situations with a framework of logic, self-interest, and predictable behavior. We assume that even if someone's wrong, they're operating with some kind of goal in mind, some understandable motivation. We try to reason with them, to appeal to their self-interest, to find common ground. But with the truly stupid, this is a fool's errand. They are not playing by the same rules. Their actions are not governed by logic, reason, or even self-preservation. We underestimate their capacity for damage because we project our own rationality onto them. We think, surely they wouldn't do that. It makes no sense. But that's precisely the point. It doesn't make sense. And because it doesn't make sense, we are constantly caught off guard, unprepared for the sheer scale and senselessness of the damage they can inflict. And the crucial part of Law 4 is the costly mistake. Dealing with stupid people is always costly. It costs time, energy, resources, emotional well-being, and sometimes tangible losses. Trying to reason with them is like arguing with a brick wall. Trying to outsmart them is like playing chess with a pigeon. They'll just knock over the pieces, shit on the board, and strut around like they've won. Every interaction is a drain, a losing proposition. And yet, we keep forgetting this. We keep falling into the trap of assuming they'll eventually see reason, or that we can handle them, or that it won't be that bad. But it always is. It's a pattern of repeated underestimation, a cycle of costly mistakes. This law evokes a sense of weary resignation, perhaps a cynical nod of recognition. Yeah, you might think, I've been there, too many times. Law number 5. A stupid person is the most dangerous type of person. This is the culmination, the chilling conclusion of Cipolla's analysis. After laying out the groundwork in the previous 4 laws, he delivers the punchline. Stupidity is not just annoying, not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. More dangerous, he argues, than even the bandit. Why? Because bandits, as we discussed, operate with a logic, however twisted. You can understand their motivations, predict their actions to some extent, and even defend yourself against them by understanding their self-interest. You can negotiate, compromise, or at least anticipate their next move based on their desire for personal gain. But stupid people? They are unpredictable, irrational, and motivated by nothing you can comprehend. Their actions are random in their negativity. Their impact is widespread and often unforeseen, and there is no way to defend against them because there is no logic to their attacks. They are like a force of nature, like a rogue wave or a sudden earthquake, destructive, inexplicable, and utterly unavoidable. Think of the damage inflicted by large-scale stupidity. Wars fought for nonsensical reasons, economic policies that bankrupt nations, environmental disasters caused by sheer short-sightedness. These aren't always the result of malice or greed. Often, they are the product of collective, systemic stupidity, of people in positions of power making decisions that benefit no one and harm everyone, including themselves. Cipolla's 5th law is not just an observation, it's a warning. It's a call to recognize the true danger of stupidity, to stop underestimating its power, and to develop strategies for mitigating its impact. It's a plea to understand that in a world populated by all 4 types, the helpless, the intelligent, the bandits, and the stupid, it is the last group, the seemingly innocuous, the often underestimated stupid, that poses the greatest, most insidious threat. So, what are we to do with this rather bleak assessment of humanity? Cipolla doesn't offer easy answers, no 5-step plan to eradicate stupidity. But his laws, in their darkly humorous and unsettling way, offer a framework for understanding, for recognizing, and perhaps for surviving. They are a lens through which we can view the baffling, frustrating, and sometimes terrifying aspects of human behavior. Perhaps the first step is simply to acknowledge law number 1, to accept that the number of stupid people is always greater than we think, to adjust our expectations, to lower our thresholds of surprise when confronted with illogical actions, to stop being so surprised when someone does something utterly, breathtakingly stupid. Then, to internalize law number 4, to remember that dealing with stupid people is always costly, to learn to identify them early, to minimize interaction, to protect ourselves and our endeavors from their inevitable senseless damage, to stop falling into the trap of believing we can fix them, reason with them, or manage them. And finally, to never forget law number 5, to understand that stupidity is not just a joke, not just an annoyance, but a real and present danger. To be vigilant, to be aware, and to be prepared to navigate a world where, unfortunately, the stupid are not just present, but, according to Cipolla, perpetually underestimated and profoundly dangerous. What are your thoughts? Does Cipolla's framework resonate with your experiences? Have you encountered these categories in your own life? Share your stories, your frustrations, your moments of bewildered recognition in the comments below. Let's commiserate, let's learn from each other, and maybe, just maybe, together we can develop a slightly more resilient, slightly more cynical, and perhaps slightly more humorous approach to navigating the world of, well, you know. And if you found this enlightening in a darkly comedic way, consider subscribing for more explorations into the wonderfully absurd tapestry of human behavior. Perhaps, together, we can become a little less helpless in the face of it all.